Tiana Speter here from the Soundcheck, and today I am bringing you a chat with genuine pop punk and music in general royalty on the Australian eve of the release of their brand new album, Listen Up. I am joined by Cyrus from Newfound Glory. Cyrus, it's awesome to chat today. How are you?
I'm doing great, and the fact that you called us royalty is pretty amazing.
I will not be the only one that says this, trust me, but I'll just say it
Yeah.
on behalf of all Australians for you. But a large reason we are chatting today is obviously the release of Listen Up, Newfound Glory's first record with Pure Noise Records, but absolutely not your first album rodeo by any means. But album number 11, if my maths is correct for Newfound Glory. May I say
hmm
absolute Riff City, and some huge things obviously going on behind the scenes as well for you guys. But the end result is just genuine joy from start to finish, personally, as that's my how I experienced it. But can you take me back to the early days? I believe you, Ian, and Chad bunkered down in Nashville and workshopped some things together. Like I said, there was other stuff that's been going on with the band, obviously, in the world and personally. But what was the collective goal or mission statement, whatever you'd like to call it, for Listen Up in those earliest days?
Yeah, well, it had been a while since we had recorded a record, or at least recorded a full Newfound Glory record. We put out an acoustic EP a few years back, great songs that was very directed towards Chad and his experiences and what he had been going through at the time. But you would have to count back almost 6 years since we had done an actual Newfound Glory record, heavy with riffs, going back to Riff City. And so there were a lot of those stored riffs on nowadays it's on voice memos on a phone, right? And so yeah, we were just, trying to again, Chad's diagnosis and his battle with cancer, it's ever changing and it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen, with him, how he's going to feel. But we did carve out a few weeks about a year ago, and we made plans to sit in the loft in his house upstairs and just jam on some riffs that he had in his back pocket. And we put together a collection of songs that we were very happy with. Now, I'll add a little thing that about a year prior to that, or 8 months prior to that, so now we're talking almost 18 months ago,
Mm.
we recorded 100%, which is one of the songs on this record. That was recorded in a different recording session. It actually was a recording session for our Part of Your World Disney cover that came out a little while ago. We had some extra time, we had some extra Disney money, don't tell them. And we're like, what are we going to do? Let's not go home. Let's record this song Chad had been working on. And when we did, we were like, wow, this is really good. And I think we all kind of said, this is what our record should sound like whenever we do it. And so all we did was just recreate that team from top to bottom. Steve Evans producing, Neil Avron mixing, and obviously all of us together. And we're like, if 100%, if it worked like that, we can do, anything and it's going to sound this great. And so, yeah, we just went to Riff City, put stuff together and, had this goal of let's just make sure that we have the riffs, we have the catchy melodies, and we kind of do what Newfound Glory does best. And we'll
Mm.
let the other people, the producer, mixer, all those, they take care of their things. And when everybody does their job, you're going to get a Newfound Glory record.
Yeah, and here it is. It's literally arriving this week, which is an amazing thing. And thank you, Disney, just on the sly. We won't tell them, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I don't want to make it about me, but as someone who did personally grow up screaming along to Newfound Glory at high school parties, a little bit longer than I care to admit, but that's fine. I still do it to this
It's
day,
okay.
so time is irrelevant. But like, Listen Up did deliver everything I love about the band, and I love hearing you kind of reflect that back in your own way. But there's also so much matured resilience and non-toxic positivity equally throughout it. And like as you said, you've been sitting on this for a little while now. There's always that weird limbo between finishing an album and releasing an album, but what do you ultimately hope a listener takes away from spending time with Listen Up while we're in this weird limbo still?
Yeah, I mean, again, maturing lyrics, I think that is very true. We are a band that has always written songs about what we are dealing with. And the elephant in the room here for the last couple of years, of course, has been Chad and his cancer battle. But again, you also correctly pointed out that this record does try to take a little bit of a positive spin on this. It's kind of hard to really stay positive with all of this, but Chad has found some way, I don't know how, to stay extremely positive about what he is going through. And he uses that as motivation where unfortunately a lot of people don't have that kind of thing. He all he wants to do is focus on this band and focus on the music and when the next time he can play with us or whatever the next thing we're doing. So yeah, I mean, with this record again, the positivity I think people can really kind of pull out of the songs. There are some songs that are heavier
Mm.
content, but at the same time, if you really look into them, it is kind of having a positive spin. And then you have cool stuff like things that we really have never done before. We have Beer and Bloodstains, a song about where we came from, right? And what it was like kind of coming up in our scene. Um, you have a song like Boom Roasted, which is kind of a commentary on music right now.
Mm.
Um, but then there's songs like Frankenstein's Monster that again are a little more directly influenced by Chad's journey. So you have a little bit of everything on this record, lyrically and also musically. And
Yeah.
again, I think that's something that we've tried to kind of do our entire career, if at least maybe the last, let's say 5 to 10 years, is just give a little bit of everything. So no
Mm.
matter what kind of Newfound Glory fan you are, you can appreciate something on the record.
Absolutely, perfectly put. And it is such a cohesive thread with the band. I do love that you did touch on Beer and Bloodstains because obviously it does hark back to those early club show days in South Florida, like ceilings literally kicked down, bloody noses, elbows flying, all the stuff that I kind of miss, but also don't think I could handle as much these days. But on that
Me
topic,
neither.
on album release date American time, you guys are playing a record release party at the end in Nashville. Now, this is no barricade. I believe it's entirely sold out, unsurprisingly. And I've read comments across the board like people are driving 6 hours to come and experience this with you. So no barricades, sweaty, beautiful, chaotic club show. Like they're always going to be so memorable. But how pumped are you to get back into that environment, especially given like you're no strangers to festivals, stadiums, arenas, all these kind of things. Like what does it mean to you to be able to play a show like this and to celebrate the album
I'm
doing so?
Well, it goes both ways. I mean, the sweaty club show where there's no backstage room and like no matter what you do, you walk in and just immediately perspire. I don't know it. I mean, yeah, it's going to be fun, but am I really going to enjoy it? I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
Yep.
It's just fun. It's just fun to play in general, honestly. Our last shows, Newfound Glory shows, were down under at Good Things. So it's been a few months since we played, and we always love being able to play. Chad will be joining us at these shows, which is great
Yay.
as well. That doesn't happen as often anymore. So that's always a special thing. Our set, which I don't want to make anybody jealous, but our set does have a lot of stuff that we haven't even played in a couple of years, not to
Okay,
mention
I'm
some songs off the
jealous.
record.
I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
I
That's
know. So
fine.
I can see those people that are driving 6 hours are going to be well rewarded.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, no, it's good, and very much looking forward to that. And just anytime we get to play, that's what we love doing the most, and that's one of the reasons. That's our motivation to continue to do this is because I just can't wait till the next when we play a show and it's our last show, like that last Good Thing show in Brisbane. I was like, man, that sucks. I gotta wait now 2 months to play, and
Yeah.
like we're gonna play this show on Friday, and it's gonna be like, well, I gotta wait another couple weeks, almost 2 months before we do the Yellow Card tour. Like
Yep.
that's not fun.
No, we just start doing some random guerrilla pop ups somewhere. It's
There you
really
go.
fun.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know how, like you touched on, you obviously spent last year extensively on the road. Your live dance card is filling up heaps this year. As you mentioned, we were so lucky to have you here for Good Things Festival in December. But obviously, like these shows you've been playing and you've had some of the singles out now, like it's opened up opportunities for some of these new songs to weave their way into the set list. Kind of a two-parter. Which of the new songs that you have been playing has seemed to resonate the most with fans at the shows? You can say all of them just on the slide, but also on the flip side, which of the new songs on the album that you haven't played yet are you personally most excited to finally bust out?
Okay, I'll go backwards. So I'm
Go
excited
for
to
it.
play Beer and Bloodstains just to see, because anybody who knows our band will probably enjoy the like hardcoreiness, if that's a word, of that song.
Yes.
Um, I'm actually also excited if we end up playing it because I don't think it's in the set yet. But a love song is a very fun song that we've written that, it's fairly straightforward, but I think it's like it's got power throughout, and I think it would be a very fun song to play live. So we'll see if that happens. As far as the reception, we've had 100% and Laugh It Off have been out. Treat Yourself just came out, but it came out after, I believe, or right around the same time we were in Australia. So we have not played that yet.
Mm,
Of those two, 100% and Laugh It Off, 100% I think has had the best reaction, but then again, maybe it's just unfair because it's the oldest, if you want to call it. It's been out
true.
for well over a year. But yeah, I will say both of those songs have been great because they're both a
Yeah.
little different. 100% is a little heavier. Laugh It Off, I think is powerful in its own way.
Mm,
Laugh It Off has a great guitar riff, and kind of like is heavy from the beginning. Where 100% is just like it's got, I don't know, it's just people are singing that chorus so much, and I think it's
yep.
instantly catchy, the chorus. So they've both been great.
Yeah, I love to hear this because for me, if I had to answer that question, not being in the band, but I will, I couldn't pick one because I want to hear the whole album, and I'm selfish and I'm not sorry. So I'm
All
glad to
good,
hear
all
that
good.
though.
That's the point. That is the point.
Yay. Well, with good things last year, obviously that plane ride to get here is always going to be long. It's for lack of a better word to get here, and you obviously not your first time getting here. We always love when you do come here. We'll always welcome you with open arms when you can come back. But given you were here like literally just under 2 months ago, I think, what was a particularly memorable moment from that Aussie visit, whether on stage or off, melting or not, because it was exceptionally
Yes.
hot in Sydney, especially.
Yes. Well, look, I mean, I think I have to address the very, very unique thing that happened at Good Things in Brisbane that obviously has never happened before, and that's that secret performance we did, the three-song performance of Amy Shark. That's something that a few years back we kind of got in contact with her, and we told the story. We tried to get her to actually come out with us on our acoustic tour that we did here in the U.S., and it didn't work out, but we know she's a fan, and we were able to connect again, and I mean, it was super cool to do that, right? And to just play in a little tiny garage or whatever that weird room was on the side of the Brisbane, fairgrounds or wherever
Yeah.
that show was. Um, yeah, so I don't think I'll ever forget that because that was super cool. And it's, with us not being Australian, and I've unfortunately never seen Amy Shark live, or at least been, she's a big deal,
Yeah.
but she doesn't carry herself that way.
Yep.
She was very giddy to be around us, and she's very much a newfound glory fan, which is awesome, right? And she's super, super cool. So obviously that was such a cool thing. And then, just I think Good Things and its predecessor, Soundwave, back in the day. Anytime you're on festivals like that, it's awesome, at least for me, because much like probably the people, or I'm sure just like the people that have gotten tickets and are watching the show, like I'm a fan of some, if not all, the bands that are on that. And it gives you a chance to go and see some of these bands. So,
Yeah.
you get to watch Tool. I don't think I've ever seen Tool live, which is great. And then you get to see your friends like All Time Low. And I got to watch Weezer's side stage, which is crazy because Josh Freese was playing for them and I'm a drummer, and that's like, insane. And yeah, so it's just fun. It's fun being in other countries. And I think also when it's not just being American, but when you're outside of your own country, you tend to, hang out with bands that you wouldn't normally hang out with because I think everybody shares, okay, we're from the same country and we're in this foreign land together. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yay. I love to hear this. And I think it just always has that vibe. And like you said, seeing all these kind of bands, that's what's something so cool about Good Things Festival and any festival for that matter, because you may not ever pick these bands that are ever going to play together and then they do. And it's just incredible. And like you said, you get to tick off bucket list moments as much as fans do. So what's not to love about that? I think it's a really awesome thing. So we might have to lure you back again if we can. But
Please do. Please
yeah,
do.
we'll try. Back to the album before we finish up today. I was initially going to generally ask you how you treat yourself in honor of that single, but you beat me to it late last year. You loaded up on Sugar High on Instagram. So instead of physical or candy treats, how do you treat yourself away from the studio and the stage in your rare downtime? What is your go-to for recharging in between all the beautiful chaos that comes with this journey?
If you were talking about while I'm still, excuse me, with the band, then it's just walking around, trying to discover cities. But I'm going to answer this twice.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so I mean, when I'm on tour, I definitely love waking up, and nowadays, luckily, we have phone service everywhere in the world, and data is not that expensive, and so you can throw on Apple or Google Maps and make sure you get back to the venue. Um, but then when I'm at home, or at least when I'm off tour, my family and I we travel. We travel a lot, and my one thing is we don't have to do this, but we quite often it's like let's. I've been very fortunate with Newfound Glory. We traveled all over the world, so it's like let's pick a place that I have not been to, that obviously my family probably has not been to either. And so we're all doing something new, as opposed to me just, oh, let's go back to London and I'll show you where I go in London. It's like, no, let's go to Bermuda, or
Mm.
let's go to, Puerto Rico, or let's go to some of these places. I went on my honeymoon to Bora Bora. One of these places that I had never been to, but my wife has been to, is South Africa, which I have recently started traveling to. I'm actually going there next month. She was born there, and
Wow.
she has turned me on to how beautiful of a country that is. And so you were talking about coming to Australia and how long of a flight it is. I'm a seasoned pro at this stuff, and
True,
flights
true.
don't phase me at all. I
Yeah.
know I just need to get up a whole bunch during the flight as I'm getting older, make sure I stretch my legs, use the restroom. Otherwise, I'm good. I can do 12, 13 hours. You take an iPad and load it up on shows, and
Yep.
next thing you know, you're already in wherever you're going. So
I love that. And it's like making core memories all together with your family, and then you still get to make these incredible memories alongside of it. It is a beautiful journey that dovetails. So that is probably the best answer you could have given. So thank you. That's
Awesome.
fantastic. Well, it is a pleasure to spend some time with you ahead of Listen Up dropping into the world on February 20. Congratulations. It is an absolutely killer album. We obviously, as I said, cannot wait to try to bring you back here if we can hear a little bit more of it. But in the meantime, enjoy the release day. Good luck with the No Barricade album launch party, and we can't wait to have you back soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.